Saints fans, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about domination. Not that kind. This is a family-friendly channel. We're going to talk how the offensive line and the wide receivers and the running backs, everybody dominated the defensive front of the Dallas Cowboys, which was an integral, if not the key part to why the New Orleans Saints were able to have a second straight week of absolutely dominating their opponent. I'm using that word a lot because that's exactly what it was. And hopefully after today's video, you will see how it worked and hopefully have a little bit more confidence, if you don't already have it, in what this team can do moving forward. Now, I am not going to tell you that after 2 games, this team is everything. It's not. And as I always try to harp on, we don't build highlight tapes. We try to find the good and the bad in every game. I said it on Twitter or X today that in a dominating win, you want to find the bad plays that a player or teammate in a horrible loss, you want to find the good. Always maintain balance. Never get complacent. For today's video, hope you enjoy it. Remember, one video is not enough to build a scouting report. You've got to put in the time to get the snaps to figure it out for yourself, but I hope you enjoy it and let me know if there's anything you'd like to see specifically. Let's go. So it felt fitting to me to start y'all off with a rep that I'm going to focus on Trevor Penning and talk about how I think that he's improved this year versus the past couple years. And some of this might seem simplistic, and that's completely okay. I think it's good to start off with basics because honestly, that's where Trevor Penning struggled with for a while. So let me tell you why I love this play. So you're going to see Trevor Penning right above me. But the thing that I really want to highlight is how he attacks D-Law here, who I realize is in his 30s now and isn't what he was maybe in his prime when he was, maybe all-pro worthy, but still a very capable player. But one thing about Trevor Penning, if you've studied his tape, and we talked about this in years past, his main thing was vertical setting. He did not really have great technique, footwork efficient enough to compensate, or hands that were consistent enough to run things like vert, jump sets, etc. And for those who aren't familiar with those type of offensive line plays, I can throw some examples on the screen. But here you're going to see him having a nice little jump set against D-Law, which is something that I've been looking for because as Duke Manyweather says all the time, pass protection isn't passive. So seeing him have this right here was very encouraging. So what you're going to see is right at the snap, get in the way. So what's the whole point of a jump set? The idea of a jump set is we want to close the space and be aggressive and get inside the defensive lineman. This is particularly effective when you have something like a wide 9 or a very wide defender that is trying to run the arc, especially if you are not necessarily as worried about him attacking you inside. Now, in this case, you have a backup plan for Trevor Penning. To be very clear, this is not a video to say that Trevor Penning is doing everything all by himself. In fact, you see Cesar Ruiz using what is known as a drag arm to make sure that McCoy is safe, but his eyes are over on that inside gap to make sure that the inside of Trevor Penning is taken care of. Well, D-Law is going to try to run the arc. Great job to shoot the hands by Trevor Penning. If there's anything that I would say is a negative, it's the butt. It's too high. You need to get that down low so that you can maintain your leverage, but shuffle your feet, move, keep in contact. That's a good rep. Also want to give a shout out to Lucas Patrick, who really impressed me this game. And you end up with a fantastic double team here as you see Cesar Ruiz never takes his eyes off of that inside gap, which is absolutely chef's kiss beautiful. If you're always looking for ways to identify things like football intelligence for offensive linemen, the ability to diagnose and see things like that while still contributing to that A-gap block, that's what you're seeing from Ruiz. McCoy is having, in my opinion, a Pro Bowl level season, and then a great job by Patrick there that inside, and Fuaga does just enough to keep Micah Parsons off of that arc on the top. But little things like this, I mean, this is just a basic technique that we're actually seeing Trevor Penning have success in. That's a huge win, and as a Saints fan, you absolutely should be excited for that. Hopefully you get to see more of this in future games. I always want to be very careful with how we preface things and say that, hey, don't take one game as in everything, but this was a good one. Next play. All right, so this is out of 21 personnel. We got an outside zone run to the right, and I wanted to harp on this because, again, it's just good fundamentals. You're also going to see Trevor Penning bullying somebody. And I'll be honest, it's nice to have positive Trevor Penning tape after a lot of negative. And him just body slamming somebody just makes me feel good. And I'm sure Alvin Kamara enjoyed it as well. But this isn't really a highlight on Penning because he's not the primary block here. Yes, it's important. Remember, the whole idea of an outside zone run is, number one, you move the offensive line in a singular direction so that you can get the entire defense moving. You're blocking a zone versus blocking a person, which is what you would do in man or power blocking. But you also are trying to open up 3 different rushing lanes. You've got the bend, the bang, and the bounce. So The bounce would be bouncing it outside. The bend would be bending it back, and the bang would be the hole up the middle. Those are the three different holes you're trying to open up in an outside zone or a wide zone run. So with this being a bang choice here, that's the route or the zone he's choosing to run into here. We're focusing on Patrick and McCoy. McCoy, sorry for the screen interruption there. McCoy does a great job reaching the second level. He's been doing that very, very well in 2 games. And again, I've talked about how impressed I've been with Patrick. Watch him cross the face right there of the DT. That's exactly what you need to seal. And then Ruiz does a good job here to get his guy and drive. Inside hand placement, but look where his head's at. He's got that front side. He's maintaining the flow of that zone block. Great job right there with that fullback blocking through, and then it's just a good read and pounding it through with Alvin Kamara. This is just fundamentally sound blocking. It's exactly what you want to see from an outside zone run. And something I want to highlight, what is the box we're going against? It is an 8-man box. This is not something that we managed to create an empty look. We managed to get numbers on our side. This is something that has to be done well. And I understand that the Cowboys could be incredibly disappointing this year. Maybe they are, but they're 1-1, and I believe that they're going to be quality after having 3 straight years of 12 wins. So I believe they're a talented team. So if you can do this type of thing in terms of playing fundamentally well, I'm going to give it a lot of praise. And again, this is a great job. Getting to the second level, engagement, love the inside domination there by Ruiz. Patrick doing enough job there to clean out that. Fuaga deserves some love there on the backside. Penning does his job. If there's any flaw to Penning, he just doesn't get enough drive on it. But either way, you see this all designed, cleared out, and it leads to a touchdown. What's there to complain about? Nothing on this one. Moving on to the next play. Oh, one more little thing about this play that I want to mention. Keep an eye on Patrick and Penning after the play. I love offensive linemen who are doing this. Get excited, celebrate. Gosh, that just, love it. This is the following drive, and again, we're going to have Penning doing, I would say, a pretty good job against Micah Parsons there in terms of a one-on-one. Yes, this is the big TD play. No, we're not going to actually talk about the throw and the coverage itself. That's going to be for another video because that is so worth the discussion. But let's talk about the blocking. How well this is maintained. Number one, I want to do a count with you. We're going to do it old school. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi. That's 4.5 Mississippis of clean pocket for a pass that goes from our 20 to their 20. That's well blocked. But it's several different things. Number one, it's a split zone type of a look where we're going to almost show a zone block to one direction, then bring our tight end back around. Obviously, this is a pass block. Zone block or split zone's a run block, but you get the idea. We're creating a pocket and making sure that this movement allows us to give Derek Carr time. But it does require this, which again, I have had issues with him playing a little bit high. I think he is playing a little high here, but good anchor, got to maintain that leverage, and then a good job right there again by left guard Patrick. And Fuaga is doing what's called looking for work right there. See that coming in, just nudge him at the very end. Love it. But the main key, what you're seeing here is number one, motion. Number two, play action. Number three, clean pocket built off of that with a beautiful, beautiful pass. But it all comes down to the very basics, which is can you play fundamentally well and defend the pocket and create that pocket? And Penning is doing just enough. And to be very, very clear with everybody in this chat, Penning does not win every rep in this game. He does not win all of his one-on-ones. And he is not perfect. But it is a drastic improvement to what we've seen previously. And I think Coach Benton and I think Coach Kubiak deserve praise for how they have both, as well as Coach Evans, Jari Evans, for helping this offensive line become a better unit. I'd argue this is currently a unit that is playing as one of the best O-lines in the NFL. I'm not going to say they're the best, but they are playing significantly better. How much better? Well, so far through 2 games, Derek Carr has been pressured on 7% of his dropbacks in total, and obviously been sacked only a couple of times. Compare that to last year, his rate of pressure, and again, this is only 2 games comparing an entire season. His pressure rate has dropped by more than half. That's how well this O-line is playing through 2 games. Guys like Trevor Penning are a part of why, as well as Lucas Patrick. Next play. All right, motion again, it's a theme. This one I love because, well, Trevor Penning is just bullying D-Law here. And that's one thing we always knew he had, right? We knew Trevor Penning was good at run blocking and he could be a bully. But it's nice to see it be consistent. What else do we have here? I'd actually argue you have like a very, very rare miss from Alvin Kamara. And remember, I talked about this. We're not here to build highlight films. We're here to give you analysis, right? So AK is actually going to slightly miss his gap here on the run. It's still a great play, but look how it starts off. You got a great block here backside by McCoy. Love this front side as we're going to move everybody up. And what we've seen a lot this year is Kubiak's offense is set to do these kind of like release blocks where the first guy gets contact to set up the guy coming across to finish out the block, like right here. And then the next blocker is going to move to the second level. And it's very efficient, very fluid, and works pretty well. But Fuaga coming to the second level, as well as your left guard in Patrick. And what I was saying that AK missed slightly, he's a little bit late in his jump cut, but it's right there. You see he's a little bit behind. So yeah, even AK, who I believe is going to be your FedEx Air and Ground Player of the Week this week, just a little bit late in his jump cut, he misses the hole. So there you go. There's your critique for the day. He's just a smidgen late, but it's still a positive play. And the blocking is really well done. And again, I want to show you this Taysom Hill little block that I'm talking about. Watch. Hands on, get it, pass it. Main thing here is you want to make sure he didn't get outside of him and wanted to make sure that it was just enough in terms of his presence was there to give Parsons pause so that that block coming across the line could get to him, clean it up, and then look. Beautiful. We have another outside zone run here and another good block by Patrick. Obviously, great job by McCoy, who I said I believe is playing at a Pro Bowl level. I love Patrick there because look at him finish the block. And man, I talk about Duke Manyweather a lot. By the way, for those that didn't know, Duke Manyweather actually worked with Trevor Penning in the offseason to help Trevor Penning get better. So not only is it the coaching of the New Orleans Saints, it's literally Trevor Penning going to a man known as the best, I would call him the best, not only evaluator, but trainer when it comes to offensive line play. He helped Teron Armstead, helped Andres Pete, and that's one of the reasons Andres Pete became a very good quality Pro Bowl player. A lot of players. So what do we have here? Another outside zone run. This one to the left. I love Fuaga doing just enough to clear out because, again, he's got a guy outside of him. But great job of McCoy to turn out. Look at Ruiz here doing enough so that he can get to the second level. Again, it's all about blocking a zone more than it is about blocking a man. Make it up to here. Great job to the second. This player by the Cowboys attacks down, which opens this up, and then read it, hit it. AK does not struggle at all, like I just talked about him slightly missing the gap last play. Well, this time he nails it, including give you a nice saucy little spin move like his name's Carl Granderson to get you a couple extra yards. Oh, by the way, are those Cowboys falling on the ground? How's that happening? Well, let's take a look at how that's happening. So watch this play as it gets to the second level. Great job to attack right on that outside. Now, I will admit, I think Trevor Penning gets away with a little bit of a block in the back here, but I think they're going to say he attacked the lower side of that defender, so he's able to get away with it. Then also look at Patrick up there. See right there? That's where I think the block in the back should probably be, but hey, if it doesn't get called, it never happened. Good job, Trevor Penning. Then you see Lucas Patrick driving his guy into the floor. Look at the celebration. Again, I get so excited when I see these big men just getting passionate about beating the crap out of each other. I'm sorry, call me a Neanderthal. I don't care. There's nothing like trench warfare when the men are good and the men are excited about it. It's exciting to watch, and it results in these big plays and also results in your star running back having 180 total yards from scrimmage and 4 touchdowns. Next play. Now, I really wanted to highlight the individual performances of the players, but I also need to highlight scheme. And one thing that this scheme has had is a lot that even Micah Parsons had never seen before. In fact, if you follow my X profile, I talked about this. The post game, Parsons talked about this, and I put up the quote. He was put in a maze, as he called it. He wasn't used to seeing these type of looks that New Orleans hit him with, and I want to show you it here. What New Orleans did, and Parsons talked about this, is yeah, he's used to getting chipped by a tight end. But what they would do is essentially like a chip release, and then they would bring a guy to the opposite side to hit him again with like a cut block. And he wasn't used to it. And he talked about having to navigate a maze. How do you help a guy like Trevor Penning, who has at times struggled with elite speed rushers? Well, you give something unique that guy has not seen that can be effective against him. So let's watch it. This is going to be Juwan Johnson right there. Look, I don't expect Juwan to win one-on-one, but what did it do? Number one, it forced Micah Parsons outside more. Now he's got to break inside. Then what do? We are bringing in our running back to the opposite side as a second defender, but it's a different contact timing and a different contact point. And as a defender, all this is happening quickly. This is something that you're not prepared for. Remember, you're preparing to get hit from that initial blow. You're preparing to be double teamed, but you're not preparing to have a blocker get you and then have a designed second block come and cut you. This is the maze he's trying to navigate. By the way, Trevor Penning putting a guy into the floor, making him eat turf is actually pretty nice to see. But we're not talking about TP today. We're talking about Juwan Johnson doing just enough to force Parsons to have that delay so that you can get the cut block to come around, and perfectly done, not too low, right in the hip. Look, we open a throwing lane and it's a completed pass. This is good schematic blocking to open up things for your quarterback. This is the type of stuff that results in him having a 7% pressure rate. It's not just individually great performances by guys like Eric McCoy, who I again believe is playing at an all-pro level, but also from a good rookie, O-lineman over in the left tackle, but also a good play by the right tackle. But you've got to have good scheme and guys who know what they're doing, and that's what you're seeing in plays like this, where even Micah Parsons gets caught in the maze. I love that quote, and I'll be saying it a lot this year. Next play. All right, so there's been a lot of run in this video, and I know many of you are looking for more pass pro, but hey, look, they ran a lot this game. And this one I wanted to show because it's different than a lot of the stuff that we normally see. What I mean by different, we are not necessarily used to seeing the Saints run things like pitch and toss plays. Well, you're going to get one here. And by the way, some more amazing blocking from the potential who I believe is playing as an all-universe level Eric McCoy. Look at this. Get on the ground. Get out of the play. You're not welcome here. But let's back it up. Somebody else also got a great job on a block here. Look at the DT lined up in that 3-tech area. Watch him try to attack inside. Well, Patrick knows that this plays a pitch to the out. So what's he going to do? Use that momentum against the player. Well, this is just dirty. This should be illegal. Call the cops. That's a felony. That's assault. You can't sumo wrestle WWE somebody to the ground. That man deserves to be fined, except he doesn't because he just did fine. He did amazing. Chef's kiss. Good job, Lucas Patrick. Got to be my biggest surprise signing of the free agent period so far. But watch it again in full speed. Love the pull by Fuaga, by the way. He's going to get out in space and do a really good job, as well as the crackback block coming from Juwan. And I harped on this in week 1. This is a well-coached football team who's playing fundamentally well. Hopefully that maintains. This is not just a bunch of fancy schemes that are becoming one-off plays that result in big scores. This is a team that's coached well, and that is why you're seeing the success that you are. Look at Fuaga pull, getting in space, absolutely gorgeous, clears it out, and then great job by Chris Olave downfield. This only happens when every layer is doing a good job. And one more time, just look at Patrick, right? Just get on the ground. And then look at McCoy, get on the ground. Woo! If you are not excited in my comments right now, you just get off this channel. Unsubscribe, unfollow, I don't care. You got to get excited about this type of play. This is just good football. Look, I know that we really want to see more and more of the pass pro because this game and the last week are not enough for us to say, hey, this offensive line is amazing. We've got to see it consistently happen. You've got tough matchups coming with teams like Philly, teams like Kansas City, and we'll see how New Orleans performs. But you got to be happy with what you've seen so far. Love to see the well-coached team play fundamentally well, and it's amazing how simple things like that can have you dominating your opponent. And I do believe that there's some good names on that Cowboys defense. But here we are, New Orleans coming out with a big victory. And as it always does, it starts up front by winning the war in the trenches. New Orleans did just that. If you enjoyed the video, like the video. It's pretty easy to do. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share this out with the Hoodats, and we will see you on the next film study. There's more coming this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you want to see. And follow me on X/Twitter as well as Facebook for more film and podcasts. Deuces, that's me. Hoodat, God bless. See you on the next one.